Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to study about advent of Europeans to India. In this chapter, we are going to study the trade and commerce relationship of India with the Europeans, the arrival of Europeans to India for trade, the Carnatic Wars in the backdrop of European political developments, the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, and dual government system. First, the trade and commerce relationship of India with the Europeans. Trade and commerce relationship between India and Europe existed since ancient times. Commerce is the activity of buying and selling. Indian spices such as pepper, cardamom, ginger and various other were in great demand in Europe. Constantinople of Eastern Roman Empire was the center of international business and considered as the gateway of European trade. In 1453, the Ottoman Turks captured the city of Constantinople and therefore all the trade routes which connected to the city of Constantinople came under the control of Turks. Spain and Portugal were making efforts to break the monopoly of the Italian traders, so they started encouraging courageous sellers to find a sea route to India. Monopoly is the right legally possessed by an individual or organization to buy or sell at a place. The invention of compass, astrolabes, and gunpowder provided a further momentum to this. Compass is an instrument containing a pointer which shows the direction of magnetic north. Astrolabes are the instruments formerly used in navigation and for measuring the altitude of the stars. Gunpowder is an explosive consisting of a powdered mixture of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal. The Portuguese sailor Vasco da Gama left Lisbon and reached Kapadu near Calicut on the east coast of India in 1498. By this, he became successful in discovering the new sea route to India. Next, the arrival of Europeans to India for trade. With the success of the Portuguese, many Dutch, French, and English arrived in India for trade. Portuguese were the first to arrive in India for trade and were also the last to leave India on the sea route. After Vasco da Gama, Francisco de Almeida arrived in India as the Viceroy of India. He implemented the Blue Water Policy to establish supremacy over the sea. And Alfonso de Albuquerque is considered to be the real founder of Portuguese Empire in India. Alfonso waged a battle against the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510, owned Goa, and Goa became the administrative center of Portuguese administration in India. Dutch are from Holland or Netherlands. They established United East India Company in 1602 to do business with the eastern countries and entered countries such as India, Java, Sumatra, Indonesia, and spice-rich islands. The Dutch broke the monopoly of the Portuguese by establishing warehouses in Surat, Broch, Cambe, Cochin, Nagapattinam, Muslipatnam, Chinsu, and other places in India. Warehouses are the large buildings to store raw materials of manufactured goods. They are also called as merchandise. On 31st December 1600, Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with the eastern countries for 15 years. Charter is an official document stating that a ruler of or government allows an institution to exist and setting out its right. The East India Company started the business formally in the year 1613. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission to the English their first warehouse of a factory at Surat. In 1617, Sir Thomas Roy arrived at Jahangir's court as the royal ambassador from the court of James I and sought permission to establish factories in other places of the Mughal Empire. Ambassador is a person sent by a state as its permanent representative in a foreign country. English established factories at Agra, Ahmedabad, and Brach. By 17th century, the English had established Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta as the center of their presidencies. Presidencies are the offices of the president and various associated administrative and policy making agencies. By the later part 18th century, the English made Calcutta as their capital city. The French East India Company started as a government owned company in 1664 and started its first factory in 1668. Later, they established their factories in Machilipatnam, Chandranagar, Mahe, Karaikal, Kosimbazar, and Balasur. In 1674, the French took Valikandapuram from a local Muslim official and developed it as a major trade center named Puducherry or Pondicherry. Dupleix, who arrived in India as the Governor General of the French, was ambitious of establishing French as the major power in South India, and his ambition led to Carnatic wars with the English. We have to know the dates that 1510 Alfonso de Albuquerque waged a war against the Sultan of Bijapur and on Goa. In 1600, the East India Company was established. In 1602, the United East India Company was established by the Dutch. In 1613, the East India Company started the business formally. In 1617, Sir Thomas Roy arrived at the court of Jahangir as the royal ambassador from the court of James I. In 1639, English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri and established a strong fort named St. George Fort. In 1664, the French East India Company started as a government-owned company. In 1668, Charles II, the Prince of England, gave Bombay at an annual rent of £10 to the East India Company. French East India Company started its first factory in Surat. In 1674, the French took Valikundapuram from a local Muslim official and developed it as a major trade center named Puducherry or Pondicherry. 1690, English purchased 3 villages, namely Satanauti, Calicut, and Govindapura on the banks of Hooghly River and built Fort William. Thank you for watching. The next part is continued in upcoming videos. Thank you once again.